Leon Rose does it again. Just when you think it's not possible for New York to make any other moves, the Knicks find a way. Thanks to the new CBA and New York exploiting a loophole, the Knicks are able to sign multiple players. But there's a catch. We're going to break down all of these latest reports today. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And make sure you have notifications turned on. So that way, anytime we drop new content, you get notified. And now, let's get started. The Knicks are exploiting a major loophole. Leon Rose and this Knicks front office are working their magic right now. We all thought that the Knicks could only add one more player to this team. But thanks to the Knicks exploiting a major loophole, the Knicks are able to add multiple players to this team. Let's break down these latest reports that explain how the Knicks are able to do this. Shout out to Ian Bagley with SNY for giving us the following information. According to him, with Huck Porty out, all of New York centers are either injured or dealing with an injury entering tonight's game against Memphis. The Knicks can add a veteran center to the roster as early as today. Their team's salary is hard capped at the second apron, but they'll have enough cap space under the apron to add a veteran's minimum deal. Before the Huck Porty injury, both TJ Warren and Chuma Okeke were among the players on New York's radar for that final open roster spot. With Huck Porty out, the Knicks could pivot to signing a center or ask Precious Achiuwa to play more in the middle. New York also has the option of signing players on 10-day contracts as it sorts out this situation. But here is where the loophole comes into play. According to Yossi Gozlan of the Third Apron, he explains that the Knicks will be able to add a new free agent later in this season if they wait until Saturday, at the earliest, to sign someone. According to Gozlan, here's his exact quote. If the Knicks sign a player today, their roster is finalized. They wouldn't have enough room below the second apron to sign another player if they wanted to replace someone already on the roster. But if they delayed the signing to someone to a rest of the season contract by 1 day, they'll have room to make an additional signing on the last day of the season. The longer they delay signing someone to a rest of the season contract now, the earlier they can make an additional one later. And that's the catch right there. The Knicks can absolutely sign multiple players, but if they want to do so, they're going to have to wait until tomorrow, at the very least, to sign another player and add them to this team. Let's break down exactly why again. If New York wants to sign multiple players, waiting till tomorrow is the way to go. If they do that, then by the end of the season, on the final day, if they don't like the roster that they have, they can waive a player on the team, and then they can sign an additional player, another veteran, and add them to the roster. Now, you might be asking yourself, what's the point in the Knicks waiting? If they wait to sign a player that they really want and really want to add to this team, another team can swoop in, add that player to their roster, and we're going to lose the chance to add another player to this team. I understand all of that. But like I said, if the Knicks want to add multiple players, they have to wait anyways. But waiting also has its benefits as well, too, because the players available today may not be the players available tomorrow. There are more players that could potentially become available because another team just cannot hold on to them. And I'm thinking about one player specifically, Moses Brown. Shout out to New York Basketball on the app X for giving us the following information. Take a look at what former Knick Moses Brown did in his first start with Dallas last night. He put up 20 points on 9 of 14 shooting, gave them 11 rebounds, 2 blocks, and 3 steals. Again, his first start, and they end up winning the game. I'm sure Dallas, if they could, would love to retain and keep Moses Brown on their roster for the rest of the season. But unfortunately, they can't do that. According to multiple reports, Dallas apparently cannot afford to keep him due to being hard capped at the first apron. So he's likely going to be released very, very soon. If that happens, and he becomes available once again, the Knicks cannot let that opportunity slip again. It happened with the Pacers. It happened with Dallas. It cannot happen again. Do you see the numbers this man has put up in his first start, given significant time? What he can do, I've called it from the start of this season. He is a late bloomer, but if you give him time, if you give him the opportunity, look at what he can do. 20, 11, 2 blocks, 3 steals. The Dallas Mavericks are so mad right now. You know they wish they could keep him on the roster. They wish they could keep him on the team, but they can't due to their cap situation. But the Knicks, thanks to our cap situation, thanks to Brock Aller, we do have enough cap room under our apron to be able to sign Moses Brown if he is released. And given the situation with Ariel Hukporti, him missing 4 to 6 weeks and potentially missing the rest of the season, the Knicks need to act fast. This is the move to make. Once Dallas waives him, the Knicks must sign him for the rest of the season. They must sign him immediately, add him to this roster, and have him be the backup center for this team. Because with all of the injuries piling up, you never know when another injury is going to hit this team, and we're not going to be able to recover from it. You need to be able to add the insurance policy now, just in case something happens in the future. And look no further than the best insurance policy that the Knicks are going to find in Moses Brown. If he becomes available, the Knicks need to make that move. I keep saying if because he has not been waived yet. And even though right now the Mavericks are not able to sign him for another contract, it doesn't mean they're not going to be able to make some type of cap moves to try to make a maneuver to keep him on the team. Again, I'm not sure what they're going to do, but they haven't waived him yet. And until they do waive him, the Knicks are still going to be hopeful that once he becomes available, they're going to be able to take another shot at him and get another opportunity to add him to this team. But let's say Dallas does something and finds a way to keep him on the roster, and the Knicks are not able to add Moses Brown. I also did mention that the Knicks are able to sign multiple players. So since that's the case, let's say they're not able to add Moses Brown. What other players would they be looking at to add to this team? Well, shout out to James L. Edwards of The Athletic for helping to answer this question. According to Edwards, he states the most likely players to be added to this team are likely going to come from Westchester, either Chuma Okeke or TJ Warren. Here's exactly what he had to say. I'll lead with this. I don't think anyone the Knicks could or might sign to finalize their roster will play much, barring any type of injury. Never say never, but it feels more likely that New York is just hoping to have as many bodies as possible to close the season. And it might as well spend the money anyways. My hunch is that one of the Westchester players gets the final roster spot. And Ian Bagley, an SNY NBA insider, also confirmed recently that Chuma Okeke and TJ Warren are both candidates for that Knicks final roster spot. But again, Hukporti went down with an injury. And because of that, the Knicks may pivot and change their plans to look to add a center to this team. And if they can't find a center in Westchester, they may look at the buyout market. Shout out to the New York Post for giving us the following information. If the Knicks did go to the buyout market to look for unsigned free agent centers, here's the names they can choose from. Mo Bamba, Frank Kaminsky, Robin Lopez, Jahlil Okafor, Malik Williams, and James Wiseman. The Knicks could also sign someone out of their G League like we just spoke about earlier. Now, of all the names listed here, I'm really looking at 2 players only, and that's Mo Bamba and James Wiseman. Now, you might be asking yourself, why James Wiseman? Let's say the Knicks are not able to get a player like Moses Brown, or they're not able to add another center to this team. But that's something that they really want to do just because they just lost Ariel Hukporti. Another player you can look at is James Wiseman on the buyout market. I understand the injuries, but he's 23 years old. I get that he has his issues, but the Knicks cannot really be picky here. These are the players that are available right now. And out of all of them, Mo Bamba and James Wiseman make the most sense. And I like James Wiseman because of his age and his upside. He still is young enough and he can learn. He can develop. He can get better. And he can get better under head coach Tom Thibodeau. but I understand the injuries will always be a concern. But he's going to be a cheap addition. He's barely going to cost you anything. That's why you take a flyer on a player like him. I would do it for a player like James Wiseman only if I can't get Moses Brown on this team. If I can't get Moses Brown, I'll go after a James Wiseman or a Mo Bamba or a player like that. Because again, thanks to New York exploiting this loophole, if they wait until tomorrow to sign any one of these players that are on the buyout market, they can keep that player on the team until the final day of the roster. And then if they want to waive that player, or maybe they like that player and they want to waive another player, maybe DeLon Wright, they can do that and then add another veteran to this team, whoever they want. Chuma Okeke, TJ Warren, whoever else is available, whoever else they like that's available and is active and can help this team, they're going to make that move. And the fact that Leon Rose and this Knicks front office is going in this direction, this route, it tells you they are always thinking about the future. That's why they never race to make moves, because it doesn't make sense to do that. Patience is a virtue, and Leon Rose has always had that. Leon Rose will never force a move, will never rush to make a move, because he understands being patient in the NBA is how you make the correct moves. And you can't really argue with him, because every time he's made a move for this team, if you look back on it, it's helped our franchise move forward in the best way possible. Sometimes we don't even see the move he's making when he makes a move. But if we wait, if we're patient, we start to see everything unravel and his final plans and what they actually are. And we really never know with Leon Rose until the final move is made. I don't know about you guys, but for me, I actually like that, because it tells me we finally have a competent front office. And I'm never going to be upset when we have that, because I know they're always making the right moves for this team to move forward in the best way possible. Be patient and wait, because Leon Rose, he's working that magic right now. But what about you guys? What do you think about the Knicks exploiting this loophole by waiting till tomorrow to add a player? And if they do that, then by the final day of the season, they can waive another player they have on this team and add another veteran to this roster. Let me know how you feel about that in the comment section below, guys, because honestly, I would love to hear from you. But that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, go ahead and smash that like button, leave a comment below. And of course, guys, please subscribe to the channel. Until next time, Knicks fans, take care of yourself, your families, and each other. Peace and love.